Welcome back to more Pandemic. This is Pandemic Hot Zone North America. This is a younger sibling to full-grown Pandemic. It is obviously quite different if you look here. In fact, this, what you see here, is everything that comes with this game, right? I have these cards separated because we're going to get to those in just a minute. But basically here, like the quick overview, I do not want to spend too much time on this because it's a much smaller, tinier, compact Pandemic, and there's no reason for me to talk 15 minutes about a game that takes 15 minutes to play. So first thing you'll notice here, the infection rate tracker only has 4 spots, meaning there's only 3 epidemic cards. You use every single one of them in every game. So when you're doing setup, you have 3 piles of cards, 1 for each epidemic card. You'll notice there are only 3 diseases and the number 4 down here. So what this is telling you is, it's again a smaller game. There's not 4 diseases, there are 3, and you cannot eradicate them. You'll notice there's no little symbol on the backs of these, as well as it only takes 4 cards to cure the disease, because your hand limit is 6, it says right here on the board. Now it plays mostly the same, right? You have to be at a research station. There's only 1 in this game, you cannot build them. Here in Atlanta, which is also where you start, there are only 8 cities of each color, so there are only 16 cubes as well. You'll notice the outbreak tracker only goes up to, well, 3 really, and then you lose the game. And the cards are mini American size, right? And no, I'm not a giant. This is the size of the box this comes in. There's my hand, okay? So it's a much smaller product. Now, this is also had for, oh, and there's only 4 rolls in it as well. I think it's $10 at, no, I'm sorry, $20 at a place like Target in the United States. So whatever 20 USD converts over to wherever you are, that's what this is. So it is about a half price or maybe even less product. So it's obviously going to be smaller components, a little bit lesser. The problem I have with it is that if you have played Pandemic or if you are well versed in modern board gaming, I feel like this is probably a little below your pay grade, right? It's not like it's bad or anything. It's just that we have Pandemic already, right? So who is this for is the question I have to ask myself. And I thought at first it would be great for gifts and everything, but not to a board gamer, right? So the idea now that I've got here is this actually lives in my car. This copy has been in my car for some time, and when I've traveled, I've played. The only time I've played this has been in a hotel room by myself, just to check it out, and I've probably played it 3 or 4 times. And the idea is that, so I run into people from time to time, and I'm at family gatherings or friends' places or whatever, and, maybe you run into people that have never played a modern board game or perhaps even a cooperative game. That seems to be the biggest one, is they go, what do you mean play against the game? And I have this ready to just pull out and say, here's how this works. I can show you how it plays in 10 minutes, and then now it's yours, and I'm going to give this away. And in fact, the reason why I'm doing this video today is because I'm giving this to my neighbor's son-in-law. My neighbor's, daughter's, that's right. So I need to do this real quick while I still have this in my possession. So my understanding is they announced that there were supposed to be 6 of these, and as of now, there's only been 2 of them released. Hot Zone North America and Hot Zone Europe, which I don't have yet, but I have ordered it. I just have it on a customer hold. So, one day we'll play that, but that could be some months down the road. This, here's the Board Game Geek page for Pandemic Hot Zone North America. You can see that it's a pretty light game. It weighs in at a 1.84. It also doesn't have a whole ton of ratings like, say, Big Daddy Pandemic has. So it is a different game. It is, it's a little bit different. Now, again, I didn't want to spend too much time on this, so the quick and dirty I already gave you. Taking a look at the PDF here, this is the coolest part, to me, on this. Whoops, of course I skipped a page. On the contents list, you'll see right here these crisis cards. Now, what are crisis cards? Crisis cards are these guys, and there are 7 of them. And the reason why I only have 4 in front of me is because I have shuffled them in here along with my epidemic cards that are also in this pile. So to give you an idea, and I'm gonna not look at these, whatever is here is not in my stack. I've already set this up, so I don't want to spoil this for me. So these cards, basically, you pull player cards, and you can pull an epidemic card. There's 4 event cards in here as well. Yes, One Silent Night is one of them, and then there's whatever these crisis cards are, and they may say things like, reduces your hand size by 1, or you can no longer fly, planes have been grounded, things like that. So I think this is wonderful, and I don't know, and I imagine that these are part of a regular Pandemic expansion that I just don't know about, because I don't know too much about, what's it called? In the lab and state of emergency, I've never seen those, so I've never played them or anything. So maybe in those pandemic expansions they have something similar, but I think that's super cool, where all of a sudden, you just can't do something, or something has changed, like your hand limit is less, or, whatever. That, I think, spices up just regular pandemic just that much more, which I think is pretty cool. The other thing, I missed this here, talking about setup, you don't flip over 3 cards to place cubes. It says flip over 2 infection cards, right? So when you're doing your game setup, you're only flipping over 2 of these and putting 3 cubes out, and then 2 more and 2 cubes and 3 more, or 2 more and 1 cube. So that's the big difference. The roles have been changed ever so slightly. If I zip through the book, and real quick before leaving the book entirely, right here on the, no, where is it? On the, well, that's the cover and the first page, and so page 2 here on the, page 5. What? No, I'm skipping it somehow. There we go, page 3. It talks about cooperation, and I think this is great because if you give this to somebody, one of the first things they see beyond how to set up the game and what's in the box is about a cooperative game, and that's like mind-blowing to people. They've never seen this before. The rest of this is how to play Pandemic, but on the very back cover, you can see here, it says differences from Pandemic. And so this is kind of the short and dirty of it all that we've already covered. There is no eradication, blah, 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 blah. These sorts of things that we've already talked about, except for the Researcher and Dispatcher effects are slightly altered. So they are a little bit different. If you look here at the Researcher, we have this. Give a city card from your hand to another player in your city. The card does not need to match your city. So regular Researcher, we still have this graphic here. Let's see. When doing the share knowledge action, the Researcher may give any city card from her hand to another player in the same city as her without this card having to match her city. The transfer must be from her hand to the other player's hand, but it can occur on either player's turn. Meaning, share knowledge from them side, like another player's side, they can take a card, right? In Hot Zone, give a city card is the only thing, right? It doesn't say anywhere about taking an action. It doesn't even say share knowledge. It says just straight up give a city card, okay? So there's that is different. And the Dispatcher, offhand, I can't remember the difference here. Move any pawn directly to any other pawn city. There's no flying, right? So that says move another player's pawn to a connected city, right? So meaning if she's controlling our generalist here and she can only move like this, and like this. She cannot say, now you fly to Phoenix. That cannot happen. It has to be a connected city. If you look here at the Dispatcher, says move another player's pawn as if it were your own, right? Meaning you could fly and do all that kind of stuff. So it's a little bit different, all right? Now the medic is still an absolute beast in this, right? When you do treat disease, remove all cubes of one color, and at any time remove all the cubes of cured diseases in your city for free. So once you get a cured disease, it is on the back of the book here, character clarifications. You'll see the medic's automatic removal of cubes can occur on other players' turns, such as if he is moved by the Dispatcher or the Airlift event. Oh, that's interesting, because that tells us that Airlift is in here too. I don't actually know what they are, because I think I have played this at best 5 times ever. And most of those were probably right after I got it and then took it with me on vacation somewhere. And I played it in a hotel room a couple times by myself. And that was, in 2020, probably 2021, maybe, perhaps. I don't know. It's been a while. So anyway, let's take a quick break here. Oh no, that's the whole point of this was to talk about this really weird thing I found. So here's the weirdest thing. On the Z-Man Games website for Pandemic Hot Zone, I found this PDF, which I've never seen before, and then through a little bit more investigation, I discovered that this is on the Pandemic site as well, and I've never seen this before. So the short version of this is you can play solo, and that's probably why you might be wondering why I had a weird set of 3 cards in front of me here and 3 cards over here. So what you do is, first of all, the Researcher is not in the game. You cannot play as the Researcher using these solo rules. You have your 3 characters here, right? So this is going to be a little different. That's why I wanted to do the video, is it plays differently than just Pandemic. You can still play it 4-handed, of course, right, and play it like Pandemic, but I wanted to try out these solo rules. You use the Researcher pawn here to keep track of which character you're moving and controlling at the time. So our white one is our generalist, our medic is going to be the orange guy, and the pink one is the Dispatcher here, okay? So you have what's called the archive. That's whatever these 3 cards are here. If we go back here and look at these solo rules, what we do is we deal 3 city cards. So these have to be city cards. So during setup, you take out events, you take out, obviously you don't shuffle in the epidemics yet, and not the crisis cards. just cities. Shuffle them up, give yourself a hand of 3, give your archive 3 cards as well. And the archive kind of acts like other players' hands, right? So in the event, I happen to be playing the Dispatcher at this time, and I wind up in Dallas, and there's a Dallas card over here. As a share knowledge action, I can take that card into our hand, but remember, our hand limit is 6. And then let's say later on I'm in Chicago, and I happen to be the Dispatcher again. Same hand, my same hand. Well, I have the Chicago card, and I don't need all these blues yet. I have more yellows. I can deposit the Chicago. Well, we know one of our starting cards is Dallas. How funny. Is going to be Chicago. We can put that in the archive now, and there's no limit to the archive size. So this kind of works as, sharing knowledge with other players. It's pretty neat. I think this is a neat system. So I've never tried it out. This is going to be wild. All 3 rolls share your single hand of cards. Your hand limit is still only 6, but you can use the archive to augment this limit. Right, we went over how sharing knowledge works. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty wild. I've never seen these before, so I thought, why not check them out right now on Hot Zone North America, which we're only going to play once anyway, so we may as well just play it with these solo rules so that we can all learn what that means. So we'll be back in just a moment to check that out. So here we go. Let's see. Hot Zone North America, turn 1. What do we have for our hand? Miami, Santo Domingo, and Dallas. And we have Los Angeles, Indianapolis, and San Francisco in our archive over here. We're going to start with the generalist. So I'm going to use the brown pawn here. The game, I forgot to mention this, also has, of course, 4 cards with your actions on them. So you can see that, just like regular Pandemic, everybody's going to have one of these cards, this double-sided that tells you what you can do. So again, I think it's a great, stocking stuffer. It's a great, oh, hey, you're not super into games already, have this. It costs me, like I said, it was $20, I think, retail. I believe I paid $11 for this at Target on sale, and I know that it has been on sale on online game stores for $4 and $5 in the past. So if you're really a good bargain hunter, you can find those on the daily deals on places like your favorite online game store. So let's get started here. We have to do our beginning infections of Minneapolis. That's going to get 3 cubes here. This is going to mess with me so much because in my brain, Minneapolis should be blue, right? Oh, and Dallas is everywhere, right? I even used that in my example, I think. And we have the Dallas card, and it starts out infected. Fabulous. Okay, let's see. Now remember, this is also, there's no real way to adjust difficulty on this because you do not have more than 3 epidemic cards. There's only 3. Every game is played with 3. So your crisis cards are really the only way. Where's Calgary? Up here. Really the only, in Seattle, the only way to increase the difficulty. And in fact, I didn't mention this. If you see here in the crisis cards description, it says standard difficulty 1 crisis card per pile, heroic 2 crisis cards per pile. And remember, there are 7 total, so there's always going to be 1 not in your game there. And then down here, this is something that might come up. Resolve the crisis card first if you draw an epidemic at the same time. And if you draw 2 crisis cards at once, you choose the order to resolve them. So just in case that comes up, we should know. You ought to know. All right, so we've got our infections done. The only yellow is way out here. Oh man, what's this? Santiago is like a nightmare for me on regular Pandemic, and here we have a similar situation here where it's just off the beaten path and way out of the way. That's at least there's nothing else that looks like that, so that's kind of weird. Okay, so let's start with our generalist. Now we are starting in Atlanta here, and Atlanta is the only place that has a research station. I apologize for the crunchiness of this video. Instead of rearranging the cameras and microphones and all that fun stuff for just a single play of a very fast game, I'm just going to rely on the digital zoom of this camera, which is garbage, so it's going to look a little bad. Probably a little blurry and a little granular, a little chunky maybe or something. I don't know. It's just not my favorite, but it's what we could do to make it work. All right, so let's see here. Generalist. So what I want to do, since we don't have any yellow cards out here in the archive, I kind of want to grab San Francisco and Los Angeles, and they're very close to each other, right? So it makes sense. Let's take the generalist, who has 5 actions. That's her power. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can take a card, and 5, or we can 1, remove, 2, 3. Let's see, 1 to move, 2 to clear, 3, 4, and 5, and grab Los Angeles. Maybe that's a good move. So we'll go 1, because this is really bad, right? Next turn, she can then go 1 and grab San Francisco, 2, 3, 4, 5, and get back to Dallas. And then the next turn she can clear and then, work this way back towards the thing. I don't know. Oh, I guess they don't even need to. My hand is my hand. This is so foreign to me. I don't have to have anybody leave the research center. My hand is my hand, right? She, the generalist, doesn't have to come research here. I'm here. Okay, so, well, that changes things. Because maybe we have the medic treat Dallas or Indian or Minneapolis here. So let's go 1, 2, 3. We will 4, share knowledge with Los Angeles. And then 5, this way we're going to start in San Francisco. Next time we can grab that right away. What do we think about that? I don't like it. Let's. I don't all that. And I don't like it. Let's have her go 1, treat, 2, right, 3, 4, 5, and grab the Los Angeles card. That way, at least we know that if we grab an epidemic right away, Dallas won't be a problem. And then when the medic goes here, we can send the medic up here instead. That seems to make more safety sense for me. So now the generalist is done. We're going to grab 2 cards for her, and we're already. Oh no, at our hand limit. Planes are grounded on turn 1. Players cannot do the direct flight or charter flight actions. When the next crisis card is drawn, discard this card. Oh, that seems not fair. Now, this is not in my hand. I'm just going to keep it down here. That's so bad, right? So we already can't fly on turn 1, and now we have 3. Oh, no. So if we grab San Francisco, we're back to our hand limit. Oh, gosh. Okay, well, let's do some infections and see what happens. So we have... It's not Monterrey. It's a place in Mexico, right? It looks like Monterrey. Monterre. I've never heard this word before. I'm sorry. I apologize. I cannot pronounce this. It's not Monterey, right? And Phoenix is red. Okay, so I have to note that... Oh, that's so funny. So when I first looked at this, the Nevada line right there looks like it's connecting Phoenix to San Francisco, but it is absolutely not this big, bright, white line. Oh, funny. Oh, this map is all messed up, right? There's no connection here. I would love probably a way to cut through the center here, through here to here, but no. Oh, wow. What a mess. Okay, so the medic, I think we kind of know what we want to do. We want to go 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? We want to clear off all of these cubes with the medic just so that in case we draw an epidemic card here, very soon, we're not going to have a problem. We also, this is probably going to be good because we could potentially draw some red cards here, and then we're going to grab San Francisco, and we'll be well on our way to our first cure. So let's draw those 2 cards. It's probably an epidemic and a red card. Oh, no. Okay, so an epidemic and a red card. So our epidemic works just like it does in Pandemic. I'll put it here. I will draw 1 card. Whoops, off the bottom. Wait, how were these set up? Okay, so 1 card off the bottom. Guadalajara is going to get 3 right here. And now we have to shuffle. Not those. That'd be messed up. All of these. And then we have to reinfect with only 2 still. So it looks like we get 1 card for the 2, or 2 cards for the first epidemic, and then 3 cards for the second epidemic, and we draw 4 cards when we hit that 3rd epidemic card. Oh my. Okay, so we have... Notice there's no sleeves on these cards, and so if you've been paying attention to my other playthroughs, you'll notice that I am a chronic sleever. This is really bad. Atlanta just got hit, and Phoenix now has 2 cubes as well. Okay, well, there we go. That's the medic done. We go on to the dispatcher now. So the dispatcher has I mean, what are we going to draw here, right? We could... No, I was going to say we could send the 1, 2, 3, 4. We can't get the dispatcher here to grab San Francisco and discard one of these and then send the generalist in here. So we don't know what the dispatcher is going to draw on their turn. I mean, it could be all... We could draw 2 blues here and be in a real pickle. So I don't want to move the generalist, far away from San Francisco. And I don't want the dispatcher to not be hanging out in Atlanta. Does that make sense, right? When the stuff goes down. So maybe we just have the dispatcher cure 1, 2, and 3, or treat, rather. And then that way the dispatcher is just planted here and somebody else can still get there. Because either one of these, she's next. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can cure depending on what we draw. Okay, so we're done. Let's draw some cards. Okay, so we drew a yellow and an event. Return any 2 cubes from the board to the supply. Nice. Now our problem is we have 8 cards, right? So we have... Oh no, this is terrible. How stupid. We just went all the way over there to grab a red card, and we're going to discard a red card. Return any 2 cubes from the supply. So this is an event that we can play at any time, so we don't have to discard it. So we're going to do that like right now. Let's dump. So Guadalajara has... Oh, this is interesting. Guadalajara is dangerous because it has 3, but I think that this bothers me more because it's way out of the way. And we know we have a cure here, right? So if we look ahead, the dispatcher is going to... No, the generalist is going to provide a cure, and then the medic can just go 1, 2, 3, 4 and clear yellow out, right? Maybe that's our best bet. Let's remove the yellow cubes from Santo Domingo. We have to discard a card, and this is dumb. Do I discard Los Angeles, the card I went all the way over there for? Oh, man. How stupid. And then she has to bail and leave anyway. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so let's do some infections then. Oh, Guadalajara! Of course. All right, so we're going to have our first outbreak right there. There we go. Ah, I should have known. We didn't have that many cards out there. And Dallas gets one. Ooh, good thing we cleared one off of Dallas at some point. Okay, wow. All right, well, off to the generalist who, I mean, now we kind of had no choice. We can't go pick this up. We're just going to mess up our hand. So we will go 1, 2, 3, 4... and 5, we have cured yellow, right? Now, the only good news here is that we don't have to deal with the, the medic is next, and the medic can clear out this, or at least part of this mess. Okay, so what we have Havana and Montreal. So we have a blue. Ah, man, we still need some reds. Okay. All right, let's do some infections. Minneapolis up here. And Santo Domingo, which we just cleared, of course. All right, so off to the medic. So I think that's our best bet, right? Medic goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and in passing through the yellow, just clears them out. Just nice and easy, right? Why not? So let's draw 2 cards. Booyah! Look at that. We have 4, 5, 6. Our hand limit is 6. We're going to do some infections. So Seattle is now not a lot of fun. And Calgary. So we can send the medic back up there, I guess. The dispatcher is sitting on Atlanta, which means turn 1, we cure red. Holy smokes. That was easy. Now all we have to do is worry about blue. We still can't fly, but you know what? We've been able to get around pretty easily without flying. So... this is such a game changer, not being able to fly. Wow. All right, so that was dispatcher turn 1. So the dispatcher can still go 2, 3, and 4 and just clear out Dallas because, we're probably going to draw another epidemic here pretty soon, right? Like, as fast as this plays, that's because this deck is small. There's not 48 cards here, right? It's very small. So we're going to keep the dispatcher right there. We're going to draw 2 cards. I need some blues. Borrowed time. The current player can do 2 additional actions this turn. That might come in very handy if things start to go south for us. Okay, so there's that. Let's get some infections going here. This place right by us, and New Orleans right here as well. Okay, off to the generalist, who is... have we just not drawn any blue cards up here? The first... oh, wow, we had Atlanta. That was it. Okay, well... sometimes pandemic is going to pandemic. All right, let's... and we've cured red, so we can send the generalist around how to just clean house, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, wait. Indianapolis. We need this. We need this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah. Because we need this. We need to have... oh, we can still move. We can still... well, let's save this because we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with this... or something, right? Some kind of way... Yeah. Okay, so let's draw some cards. Arg. Okay, oh, wait a minute. So what is this? What did that say? If you draw both an epidemic card and a crisis card when drawing player cards, resolve the crisis card first. So that's this first. Logistics failure. What? Resolve the draw infection step twice this turn? And we don't have one quiet night. Resolve the step once instead. Oh, no. And we drew that with an epidemic. So here I am going... We're cleaning this game's clock. We're wiping the floor with this place, and these crisis cards come in. So the good news is the planes are no longer grounded, but we have to resolve the infection step twice. So the epidemic card says move it, and we're drawing 6 cards, right? Because we're moving from 2 to 3 here, which is now 6. And then, oh dear, okay, so we got to draw the bottom card off of this, which is Boston. Boston. All right, now we have to shuffle what? 10 cards, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cards, and draw 6 of those. So just about half, a little bit over half of these cards are going to get reinfected here. Oh no. The good news is, I mean, as far as blue is concerned, we only have 2 cards, right? Boston and Atlanta. So, you know, Boston is going to cause a blowout, but whatever, an outbreak. And are there any other outbreak potentials? No. No. We have kept this under control, North America. This was definitely not the 2020 I know, I'll tell you that. Okay. All right, here's our cards. I hate trying to shuffle cards that aren't sleeved. All right, so here we go. 6 because of our logistics. I can't believe this. That is horrendous. Look at that. Okay, so card number 1, Guadalajara. I mean, I guess that one just gets removed when the medic activates anyway, because he's sitting on it. Calgary. Uh-oh. Monterrey. Seattle. Oh, no. And Boston again. Ah, of course. Of course. So we had another outbreak. Oh, boy. And that was that 5 or 6? I lost count. Trying to sound like a jerk. Okay. So we have one more card. Santo Domingo, my favorite place way out here that nobody wants to travel to, that at least we can fly to now. So there's that. Wow, that sucked. Okay, so there were 6 of those. So now, oh boy. Okay, so it's now the medic's turn, who I guess can just remove this because yellow's cured. So that's move 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Oh, watch this. We're going to play Borrowed Time, right? And blue is all we really have to worry about right now, but we can clean some house here, right? So 2 additional actions gives the medic 6 actions. Oh, yes. Okay, so look at, so there's 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's not a connector. 4, 5, 6. We can go like that, right? So, or do we just leave this and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Yeah, these are way worse. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's funny. My brain keeps seeing this as a connector. I even pointed it out that it's not a connector because it bothered me so much. I almost screwed that up. Okay, wouldn't be the first time. All right, so now, wow, yeah, that worked out great to just clean. Yes, I did it again to just clear through here. All right, so we got to draw 2 cards. We need some blues, baby. Oh, what is this? Airlift. Move 1 pawn to any city. Just not doing well with the blues. I must have shuffled them down to the bottom then. All right, let's do some more infections. We have Atlanta and New Orleans, which is down here. Okay. Dispatcher. I think all we need to do is draw. Oh, you know what? We can move somebody onto Boston as well, right? Like, why not drop somebody like the generalist into Boston anyway? Like right now, let's just go zoop, just so you're there, right? Move any 1 pawn to any city. And then let's just have us kind of clean up our mess here, right? Let's go. Oh, we can move people though. We only have 2 blue cards in the whole thing, so I'm not. I mean, well, okay. There's one more epidemic card coming as well, right? We've only seen 2 so far, so we know there it is, and there it is. We know there's one more epidemic coming, and we've seen 2 of the. So there's one more crisis card coming as well. 1, 2, and one more event card coming as well, because I think there's 4. I think. So here we go. So, well, the dispatcher can't do anything. We can't pull a card from here. So really, we're just putting out fires. Let's go 1, 2, 3, and come over here to Miami 4. I mean, oh, we could fly to Havana because I don't like this at all. Well, I mean, it's only got 2 cubes. We're still okay. All right. So we're done. We need to draw some blues. There it is. That's going to be game, right? Because we can discard a yellow so that we only have 6 cards. We're going to infect here with 3 cards. So Minneapolis, Phoenix, and a bunch of reds that we just cleared out, right? Phoenix, Minneapolis, Dallas, right? Those are infected. It now goes to Generalist, who I moved as far away as humanly possible. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That was easy, right? Bingo. 4. We have cured all diseases. End of game. We only had 2 outbreaks. Okay, not too bad. But you see what I'm saying? How it plays a little faster. Although we did play with the solo rules, and that probably made it easier because I didn't have to build research stations to get people back to a place where we can cure. I could just use the same hand. And I tell you, that was actually way more manageable than trying to play 5 characters and keep track of whose turn it is and when you activated something that ends in 2 turns or 5 rounds or whatever the case may be. So yeah, but that's Pandemic Hot Zone North America. It's a pretty decent game. It's not a bad take on Pandemic at all. I thought I heard there were supposed to be 6 of these, and it's 2023 now. And there's only 2, Europe and North America. So I don't know if maybe they just didn't sell, which would not surprise me at all. They're not bad. They're just, we already live in a world where we have Pandemic, and it's 15 years old, and it's well fleshed out, and it's great. This is stocking stuff for material. This is giving it to somebody who is not big into board games material. I feel like maybe I'm completely off base here and I'm missing something about this, but this it's not fun. It's fun. It's just that if I'm going to play Pandemic, I'm not going to play this. I'm going to pull out real Pandemic, which is a little bit more game, offers a little bit more challenge. You know, like it's above, like, say, my mother playing, but it's below all of my friends playing, right? You know, and they're all familiar with video games and board games, and I don't think this would sit that well as opposed to, say, real Pandemic. So, but I run into people who don't know anything about modern board games or have never played Pandemic. You know, so the box for the price was just right. You know, I think I paid $11 for this at Target, and then I paid $5 for the copy of Europe I bought, which is brand new from an online retailer. I just have it on a customer hold. I haven't received it yet, so that'll come up sometime in months down the road. I don't have it now, and I don't plan on playing that anytime soon. I've got some other exciting games I want to get to, not just Pandemic, but here it is. I figured I'd do a bunch of Pandemic all at once, and this is Pandemic Hot Zone North America. So thanks for watching, and remember, games are made for everyone's recreation. We'll see you next time.